Hello, my name is Hunter Pisano, and I'm going to be analyzing a primary source. The primary source I picked was the poem Sympathy by Paul Laurence Dunbar, and the analytical approach I'm using towards this poem is the way that the author uses repetition and other figurative language to emphasize the theme. So, for the summary, this poem is about comparing a caged bird to slavery and the 1800s of America. He talks about captivity and the plea of a slave to the singing caged bird that just a today's citizen would have. It is also about how the bird feels deprived and by the pleasure of life, the same way a slave would feel in that time, being limited to its jobs and his duty for basically life. The narrator of this poem is just one person comparing himself to the slaves and anyone held in captivity. The speaker is revealing himself as the caged bird and comparing everything that they have in common. He knows what the caged bird is feeling, and he says he's experiencing all those pains by comparing himself to what a caged bird feels in the poem. The character in the poem, being the caged bird, is representing the pain and plight of all the American slaves being held captive during these times. The times being the 1800s during American slavery. And different types of language that are used in this poem are repetition, where he keeps saying that he knows how the caged bird feels in these situations, and he's using imagery by giving such good descriptions on like what the bird is feeling, like how he's bloody by hitting his wing on the metal bars, just how a slave would be trapped in a certain area and be bleeding from the hard work and trying to escape. And he also uses irony and a few other figurative languages. The background knowledge I have on this poem is that the speaker is comparing slavery to being a caged bird. Just in the same way, they're both being held captive. They both are being kept from their freedom. Their happiness has been taken away, and they just basically have their life limited to such a small space. The working thesis statement that I currently have is Paul Laurence Dunbar uses repetition and figurative language to compare being a caged bird to slavery.